Welcome to late summer in South Carolina. This is my 1981 VW Mark I pickup truck, also known as a Caddy. The previous owner installed a GTI 2-liter engine and transaxle and removed the diesel engine that was in the truck. It's my daily driver. I have other newer vehicles, but I like the 5-speed manual transmission and the pep this vehicle has got. Not only is it fun to drive, but it's useful. The bed is only knee-high, so loading and transporting things like a washing machine are easier than full-size pickups. There are used camper shells available for this truck on Craigslist. My son and I don't like the way they look and don't like the restriction that they provide on being able to see out of the back of the truck while you're driving. I called one of the roll-top tonneau manufacturers, and they told me, based on the photograph that I sent them, that the roll-top they had wouldn't fit because of the width of the sidewalls of the bed. What I intend to do is install a fiberglass tonneau cover over the bed, and there are none commercially available. This is a fiberglass tonneau cover from a Ford F-150. This top is much larger than the bed of the VW pickup. I paid $60 for it. The plan is to cut the fiberglass in sections and rejoin them. Working in fiberglass exceeds my skill set. I've never done it. I recently met some people who can perform the fiberglass work. Well, I hope we can get this in a single shot. Discussion with the fiberglass experts indicate that they want to keep this head-end section of the fiberglass top and reapply it when we finish up. It's one of our sections we're going to keep. The length of the tonneau cover will be shortened by removing a piece of it. The sides of the tonneau cover, where they have this rounded profile, the sides of the tonneau cover are going to be cut off and then reapplied. The idea is to trim a section here that runs the length of the cover and a similar section on the other side to narrow the width of the cover to match the width of the pickup truck. We intend to keep about 3/8 of an inch or maybe a half an inch between the fiberglass top and the bed of the pickup truck to avoid scratching the paint. The center section of the tonneau cover, this center section, will be kept as is other than shortening the length of it. The idea is that it's got a lock cylinder here with rods that go out, and you'll see better of those when I flip it over, and latches on the sides. We're going to bring those latches in, but this center section will remain as is so that we can keep this lockstep like it is. This is the bottom side of the fiberglass tonneau cover. The aluminum rail you see here, that's part of the rail system, support system for the fiberglass top. What we're going to do is we're going to cut it shorter to match the length of the bed of the VW pickup truck. The hasp, the support foot, and the management arm with its shock or dash pod on it, spacing between the three of those will be maintained, but they'll be moved up to go along with the shorter aluminum rail. Aluminum rail across the front of the bed will be sectioned. We'll take a section out to reduce the width to match the blue VW pickup truck. A 3-inch gap is planned to be left between where the hinge is and the cab of the truck to allow for the fiberglass top to go up and down and not bump into the cab. The fiberglass experts asked me to requested that the aluminum rail system be mounted first on the truck to give them a better idea about how to reassemble the fiberglass top. For the sake of seeing it, I figured I would show you guys the latch on either side latching. Here's where the lock cylinder is located. I'm going to twist the lock cylinder, and the metal aluminum support assembly should pop up. Here we go. So these rods will get shortened when we narrow the width of the fiberglass top. I removed a section from the end of the frame assembly, the aluminum frame, to shorten it for the bed. I also removed a section from the center of the frame assembly, aluminum frame, right in here. I did all my cuts using a tape measure, metal scribe, and a hacksaw. It's accurate enough for these purposes. The hasp down here, the foot that holds the tonneau cover on the top of it, and the tab and the management arm that goes up to the tonneau cover. Those pieces have the same spacing that they originally did. They've just been moved back up closer to the front of the bed on the assembly. I had to move this second foot on each side because when we moved the management arm up, I had to move this second foot up further toward the front of the bed to get it away from the back side of the management arm. The piece removed from the section came out fairly easily. One of the reasons is because the frame is made out of soft aluminum, and the aluminum angle that I talked about previously did a pretty good job, I think. I've got 1032 screws, 4 on a side, holding it in place, and I screwed through the aluminum frame assembly into this to stiffen it up. The plan is that I'm going to get some threaded rod and go through the bottom of the aluminum angle to an existing hole that somebody else put in the bed down there to stiffen it up in this direction. The plan now is to get it ready to be taped and anchored. I bought a roll of sealing tape. It's pretty, 15 bucks, and the idea is that I've got these blocks here. I'm going to tape, after I get the assembly out of the way, I'm going to tape along the top of the bed going back on both sides, and then come back and apply the assembly to the tape on the bed, using this as a guide point to get 3 inches exactly on each side. After we get the sealing tape on the frame assembly, that's when I'm going to come back on these tabs and anchor them to the bed using this lip that sticks out on the side wall of the bed of the pickup truck. Here is the aluminum metal frame anchored to the bed of the VW pickup. Each of the 4 anchoring tabs have 2 of the self-drilling screws to hold them onto the bed. You can see that aluminum rectangle there, that's the anchoring tab. A 5/16 threaded rod, steel threaded rod, goes from an anchor that I wound up using on the bed up to the midpoint on the span that goes across the front of the bed. Well, this is how far we've gotten. Fiberglass guys decided to not participate in the video. I think they did a good job though. I like the way it looks. The top of the tonneau cover is of course higher than the bed, giving the truck a somewhat different look. Had to get used to it after I saw it. It turns out that large cell cardboard was used inside the fiberglass, between the layers of fiberglass, and not plywood like I expected. The plan is to have the truck painted to include this top and maybe a replaced driver's side front quarter panel. The 3-inch gap behind the cab still needs some work. The fiberglass guys put in this sheet of fiberglass. We need to add some caulk or some additional grommeting to get it to seal. Well, there it is up. The tonneau cover support feet that I mentioned before needed to be adjusted to get the latches that are on the underside of the tonneau cover itself, to get them to latch. Because of the angle of the threaded rod that goes between the lock cylinder and the latches, they're not pulling straight from the latches, and what that means is that you have to, it won't reset itself with the springs that are in the latches. You have to set it back. The top cover doesn't swing up high enough to put our washing machine in the back with the tailgate up. Now, some other washing machines might be okay. The flip side of that is that I can leave items in the bed and shut the back, lock it, and continue to shop when I need to. The plan is to line the bed with non-skid rubber mats like they use in bars or restaurants. Maybe some of the ones that snap together. I haven't made up my mind yet about that. I also need to research issues like static, because I know that liners inside of the bed of pickup trucks can cause fires when you do things like try to set a bottle of gasoline down in, or a container full of gasoline in the back of the vehicle. So here I'll show you the tonneau cover closing. Notice this is down. That's it.